it's Nikki of Nikki's Homemade Crafts, and today I'm going to teach you corner to corner using the double crochet box stitch. Once you learn how to crochet this technique, you'll be able to crochet either this pattern, which is a gift box pillow. How cute is that? Look at this huge bow in the front. It's not in the back because obviously a gift only has it in the front. Or this really big joy pillow where the joy, one of the sides has a wreath and a poinsettia on the center, and then the other side just says joy the regular way. So it's reversible. A joy pillow. This one is my favorite side though. A joy pillow with a wreath and a poinsettia. The wreath obviously representing the O for joy. But one of these pillows will be available for free tomorrow via the Christmas Advent Calendar Mystery Crochet Along. Because once you learn a stitch on an odd day, like today, you would be getting access to the pattern tomorrow, one of the two. That means you have 12 stitches and 12 patterns for 24 days in total for the Christmas Advent Calendar Mystery Crochet Along of 2024. However, if you want 12 additional patterns, meaning 2 patterns per stitch, then grab the ebook, which includes all 24 patterns and the 12 stitch tutorials, all ad-free and printer-friendly. And with the link down below and the coupon code, you get a special deal and you get access immediately. You can also just stay part of the free mystery crochet along if you like. Now let's get started with the corner to corner box stitch using double crochet stitches. I'm also going to teach you here how to do a few color changes. I will leave an additional stitch tutorial with more details on how to do color changes with a few extra tips and tricks in the pattern. So regardless which pattern you're getting, you'll get additional information on how to do corner to corner. So if this video is not enough for you, then there will be additional videos available for you. But if this is enough, then great. Now it's time to learn this and make your little swatch so you're ready for tomorrow's pattern. Let's go. As always, when you learn a new technique, the most important thing is the theory. Just like a science experiment, you need to know first how this works before you actually get started and do the experiment. In this case, doing the stitch in a crochet version. So let me first explain to you how this graph works, because I feel like a lot of crocheters don't know how to actually read a corner to corner graph the right way and how to crochet it. And I highly recommend you getting your pen and paper ready and draw this out. You will have this little pixel available in the tutorial, so no worries about that. But once you have it, let's say printed out, or you do it digitally, I don't care, you'll be able to, add some arrows to it. I do recommend using those arrows. They will really, truly help you, okay? So let me explain. You have this graph right here, which is a little rectangle. The very first thing is you will see an arrow this way, and it says here increase and increase. When you have an increase, you will do a chain of 6 and 3 double crochet stitches. That will be going into the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook. If you're doing decreases, on this side, you're going to do 3 slip stitches, chain of 3, and 3 double crochet stitches instead, okay? Now, the very first thing is you need to understand what is one box stitch. 1 pixel is 1 box stitch. So let me write that down. 1 double crochet box stitch is 3 double crochet stitches. Typically it has a chain of 3 in front of it, so it will look like this. So a chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches. Those 3 double crochet stitches either go into 1 chain each, as I said here in the increasing part of it, or it will go into the chain 3 space of another box stitch, typically the neighboring box stitch, okay? So that is 1 box stitch. 1 box stitch equals 1 pixel. Okay, so if you see a pixel right here, that's equivalent to 1 box stitch. I'm using here the double crochet stitch, but there's also a half double crochet version, which is known as mini corner to corner. Okay, now we talked about increases and decreases, and you'll learn a little bit more on when to use which one as we crochet this little rectangle. But the most important thing is you will check which arrow is where, and then you will compare it to the outside arrows. So let me explain that a little differently. Because we're working from a diagonal point, pick which one you want. It doesn't matter which one, just stick with it, okay? So whatever point you're starting, for me, I like to start on the bottom right corner. You will end up at the top left corner. You want to also start down here and then go up there, or you can start up here and work down here. It doesn't really matter as long as you keep going with the same path. So if you're doing it my way, you start here on the bottom right corner. You will start here as the first pixel. Once you make your first pixel, you will add the second pixel. Because this arrow going from one pixel to another pixel goes upward, this arrow is equivalent to this arrow, meaning it's the same, and therefore you're going to make an increase. Now, after you made your second pixel, you're going to go this direction. So it's like a snake, right? So when you go this direction, you're going to have this diagonal arrow. This arrow doesn't match any of these outside arrows, but it matches this one over here. And this one over here means you're just going to make a simple box stitch. Chain of 3 double crochet stitches. No increase, no decrease. An increase means there's a chain of 6. A decrease means you have 3 slip stitches and a chain of 3, okay? I'm going to remove those errors right now because otherwise that gets confusing. So once you understand that, you should be golden, because over here you now have to do an increase again. See, it goes from this pixel over to this pixel. So you have this arrow, which corresponds to this arrow, which is also an increase. Then we go up here again and go this direction, which is diagonal again. So there will be 2 box stitches over here made in a diagonal way, which means you're going to make a chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches. And then over here is finally a arrow switch. So instead of going up and matching this arrow, it now matches this arrow over here. So you're going to have to do a decrease over there. Okay, and then here again, it's a diagonal arrow. Over here is a decrease again, diagonal, decrease. So let's do this together, shall we? I'm going to use white, and I'm actually going to use yellow instead of red, because red is a little bit hard to see sometimes on camera. So even though it has red over here, I'm just going to use yellow. So that way you can see the color changes happening on camera, because you're going to need those color changes for the pillows. So either the present/gift pillow or the joy pillow. Either one, you're going to need to know how to do color changes. All right, I'm going to leave this one over here. All right, I'm going to start with white, just like the pixel shows. We're going to make first 1 box stitch. We have to have a foundation, so this is similar to an increase. So we're going to make a chain of 6 and 3 double crochet stitches. So that's what we're going to do in order to start our very first pixel. So here's a chain of 6, and now you're going to go into the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook, and you're going to crochet 1 double crochet in each. By the way, whether you're going to go into the back bump or back loop, it really doesn't matter in this case, because you're turning your project so many times, nobody's going to see it in the end. So here's your very first box stitch done. So what I like to do is I like to check it off so I know what I did. So I made this one just now. So now I'm going to follow my arrow. The next one over is going to be this one, and this arrow matches this arrow. Therefore, we're going to make an increase. So again, chain of 6. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to crochet double crochet stitches in the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook. Again, whether you're going to go in a back bump or back loop or front loop, even if you want to, it doesn't matter. So here we go. I now made my second pixel, but it doesn't look like how it's supposed to. It needs to be connected just like this. So meaning the pixel is next to each other and not kind of floating. Well, because we're doing diagonal rows, we still have to turn. But here the turning kind of happens after the increase, right? Now for decrease, it happens before you make that next pixel. But for increases, you're doing it after. So you made your pixel, and now you're going to swap this over. So that way your slip stitch goes into the chain of 3. That slip stitch always goes into the chain of 3. So regardless of how you turn, doesn't matter as long as the next door pixel, next neighboring pixel, is right there in a way for me to make a slip stitch into it. So there is my slip stitch. Now they're connected. So if I lay it out like this now, you can see that these two pixels are on top of each other. And now I have to make this pixel. And perfect, my yarn is already there. We're right in this corner over here, made the slip stitch. We now need to make this pixel right here. Because this is a diagonal arrow, it will tell me I have to make a chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches. So let's do that. So chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches. They all go into that chain space. And this is how it looks like right now. So now we need to follow our next arrow. So let's check these off. We did these two. The next arrow right here is telling me I have to go with an increase because this arrow matches this one. This means an increase. An increase means a chain of 6 and 3 double crochet stitches. So let's do that. Chain of 6 and then 3 double crochet stitches in the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook. All right, now we need to do our turning. That always happens after the increase or before a decrease. So here we did this, we made our pixel, but our pixel needs to be connected to the chain of 3, which is right here. So we need to flip this. So we go into this chain of 3 space right here, and that way it's connected. So if I now lay it out the way it shows here on the graph, we just made this one right here. You can see it's right next to this one right there, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to follow this path. So the first thing I see is, oh, there is a color change happening. Well, that actually means I need to pull this slip stitch back out and I need to change colors during the slip stitch. So let's do that. So I have here my yellow. So I'm actually going to take my slip stitch out and I'm going to remake it in yellow. So what you want to do is you just drop your white, pretend it's not there anymore. You can still hold it in place, but you're going to go through that chain of 3 and you're going to pull that new color through and make your slip stitch. You can even go one step further. Most of the time I do it during the last yarn over pull through. So let me show you. So right here during that last yarn over pull through on the double crochet stitch, do you see how I have here an unfinished double crochet stitch? If you do it over here, the color will actually more smoothly transition. Okay, so look, I'm pulling this through right here with the new color. And now, as I said, I'm just dropping my white. I'm doing my slip stitch with the yellow right here, like so. And now that color transition is a lot cleaner. So if you do it during the last yarn of a pull through, just like you would do for a regular color change, that's where you do it, during the last yarn of a pull through of the last double crochet stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to make this pixel right here is a diagonal line, which means chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches all into that chain space right here. However, I need to pick up my white again. So I have two choices. You want to kind of think ahead when you do corner to corner. Am I going to be able to take my white from over here to over here without crossing it over? There's two ways to do that. One, you make a big loop and then pick it back up and then cut that loop later and weave it in. Or in this case, I could probably carry it with me, but I need to do that before the slip stitch. So let me show you this little trick. Now, you don't always are able to do that. The only way you can do this color change is if you have the neighboring pixels be the same color. So in this case, my white that I dropped over here after this pixel is the same color as this and this pixel. If that is the case, and I need to do the next one again in the same color, I can carry it with me without anyone seeing it. If that's not the case, make your big loop, which I'll show you in a second again how to do that, and then start over and then cut the yarn later to weave it in. So in this case here, I'm going to first show you how to do the color change by carrying with you if you have a chance that you can. In this case, I'm going to try and show you. I'm going to take my white with me over here. So that means I'm going to simply let it go underneath here. So I'm going to carry it with me as I'm crocheting those double crochet stitches. So over here, I make my slip stitch and the white is just carried with me right now. Okay, pretend it's not there, but it's there. So I didn't drop it in this case. Make my chain of 3 and now I'm going to crochet over this yarn as well as into the chain space and make my double crochet stitches. So there's 3 of them. As I am carrying that white with me. Okay, so remember, during the last yarn over pull through, I need to switch colors again because the next one is white. So I'm going to drop my yellow over here and I'm going to pick up my white. So here I'm able to pull this up gently. It's going to run here along this white line. It's not going to be too visible. So as long as I don't pull too hard on it, I'm going to make my last yarn over pull through in white. And now I'm going to make my slip stitch, but I'm actually going to go through this loop that I just created and then make my slip stitch, because that way it's going to hide it a little bit more. And it's kind of here on the side. You see how smoothly, like, I mean, if you pull it like this, you can see it. But if you just leave it like this, then it's fine. You can't see it. Otherwise, make your loop as I said earlier, and I'll show you how to do that. So now let's actually work on the next pixel, which again is just a chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches. So this is how it looks like right now. So I'm going to show you in the way of just holding it like this and checking off my boxes so you can see what I did. This one is the red right here. I just made it in yellow because yellow is easier to see. And I made this one right here. Now I have a new arrow right here. I don't have an increasing arrow going in this direction. I have one going in this direction. So we're now doing decreases as it says over here. So we're actually turning our project first in this case. We're not doing it after the making the next pixel. We're doing it first because we have to go along this line here of this pixel we just made and make slip stitches, because that's where we need to go. Because look where my loop is. My loop is all the way over here, but I need to start my pixel over here. So I need to go to this point right here. The only way to do that is slip stitches over, 3 slip stitches, and then make my chain of 3. So obviously I have to do my turn first, because this is how it looked like before I finished, and now I need to turn first and then make my slip stitches. So for decreases, you turn first. For increases, you do it after. So here I made my 3 slip stitches, and now I'm ready to go to make my next pixel in white. So let's do that. So I'm going to make my chain of 3, because after doing 3 slip stitches, I have to make a chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches for that pixel. So I made my chain of 3, and now I'm making 3 double crochet stitches. But again, during the last yarn over pull through, I need to change colors. So now I'm going to look where my yellow is. Can I carry it? I don't think so. This yellow is all the way over here, but I have to go over here. There's no way for me to carry it in any kind of direction. So the only way to do it is make a loop. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a big loop, however you want to make the loop. Mine is going to be about like a foot or so long. And I'm going to go through the last yarn over pull through here. I'm going to pull my yellow through. So make a tiny loop after making the big loop. So you can see here's the big loop. I'm just going to let it hang, and I'm going to cut it later to weave in my ends. So I pulled here my yellow through during the last yarn over pull through. I'm going to drop my white, and now I'm going to make my yellow. So slip stitch, and I'm just going to do my chain of 3 and my 3 double crochet stitches like so. Now I'm going to check here what's my next pixel. My next pixel is going to be in white. Let me check this off. So I did this one, and the next one is white. So right here I have to have white. So let's see, how far away is my white? That's quite a bit. It's far away. I could have not carried it with me over here because there's yellow over here. So which means I have to also make a loop. It's too far away. So here's my loop, about a foot long or so. I'm going to make a tiny loop after the big loop, pull that through during the last yarn over pull through for the double crochet stitch, drop my yellow, and then make my slip stitch in white. And I'm going to make my chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches. So now I'm going to check and look how I'm doing. Did I do everything right? Well, the graph matches my little project. So here we go, made my checkbox. So now I need to go and follow this arrow. So I finished this side, now I'm going this direction. This one matches this, which means it's a decrease. So again, I need to make a slip stitch, 3 of them. I need to go to this point right here and make a new pixel right here. It's going to be in white, so that's great. So I'm just going to continue with white. By the way, if you ever have a color change after the next pixel. So if this would have been red, you do first the slip stitches in the color that you just made and then do the color change. So for decreases, the color change happens right in between here, but between the slip stitches and a chain of 3. That's where the color change happens if you do it during a decrease. So I'm going to make my 3 slip stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to make my chain of 3 and 3 double crochet stitches. And now I'm going to check first, do I have a color change right after? So before finishing that last double crochet stitch, yes, I have a color change. So I'm going to check this off. And I have a color change right here. Let's see, where's my yellow at? Can I pull it over? Well, it's all the way over here. Can I pull it over? It might be too visible to pull it over, but I can try. I'm going to try first. I can always pull it back out and see if it works. So right here, I'm going to try to pull it through and see if I can hide it in any kind of way. So it's right here. It looks like I'm able to hide it. So let's see. I'm going to make a slip stitch right after and see if it's going to be visible. It's not too bad. If this bothers you, then just make a big loop first. But this is not too bad. This is kind of, it's hidden enough from a big project you won't be able to see it. Now chain of 3 and then 3 double crochet stitches. And then we finished this row and we need to go to our last pixel. And you can see that this is actually what happens, what I just mentioned. There's a color change happening during the decrease. So let me show you how I handle this. So this is the pixel we just finished. So we need to connect it first with a slip stitch to the next pixel. Yes, still in yellow, even though the next pixel is in white, but the next pixel is over here in white. We need to get over there. So we're going to turn our work first and we're going to make our 3 slip stitches. 1. And then during the 3rd one, I highly recommend switching colors. Okay, so here I'm going to drop this and see how far away is my white. I don't think I can hide this because there's a yellow over there. Let me see if I can hide it. I don't know. Maybe it'll probably cover up the yellow there a little bit. Maybe I can hide it. I'm going to try. So this is what I want you to kind of try out and see. Can I hide it or not? So I'm going to pull this through over here and see if I can hide it. It looks like I'm able to, and here's why. We're going to crochet over this chain of 3 space anyway, so we're able to hide that white over here that's hanging, and we're going to just crochet right over, so that way you can't see it, okay? So I'm going to make my chain of 3 after the last slip stitch was in a new color. And now I'm going to crochet over. So look, I'm going to go into that chain of 3 space as well as the white. I'm going to carry that with me that I can pull over, and that way I'm able to hide it. So there we go. And let's finish this up, make a slip stitch. And I highly recommend after this that you're not stopping here on this corner, but you actually go into that actual corner, turn your work and make 3 more slip stitches at the very end. So you're officially in the corner and you can then make a slip knot and finish off. So let me lay it out so you can kind of see how this looks like right now. So this is how it is. We made this pixel and the very last pixel. So at this point you can cut your yarn. So I'm going to look here where my yarn is, so I can cut this yarn and move this to the side, and now I can look where my loops are. So once you're finished with your project, obviously this will be woven in, goes through the yellow, and then over here are now my loops. Okay, so you have 1 loop here in white, so I would snip that in half, and you can do that at any time if you feel like it bothers you or something got tangled or whatever, just do it then. And then that will be that has to be woven in, and then right here as well. So snip it in half. And now they're, you know, loose ends, and all you have to do is weave it in according to the color. Yellow stays with yellow, white stays with white. And then you have your little rectangle done, and now you learned how to do not only corner to corner using double crochet box stitch, but also how to do color changes the right way for this specific technique. So that way you're able to crochet this joy pillow right here, which is a double-sided joy pillow. One side has a wreath and a poinsettia in the front. Or this one right here, which is a gift pillow with a cute little bow right here, which you can really make 3D like if you add a little bit of glue to it to harden it. That's fine. I like to have it a little bit softer, just like a actual present is. But one of these patterns will be available for free. The question is, which one? Can you guess which pattern will be available for free? One of the two. It'll be... Ooh, that rhymed just now. Did you hear that? Anyways, one of them will be available for free, but if you want both of them and all the other extra patterns, there's 12 additional patterns available, but only in the ebook. The coupon code for this ebook expires December 24th, 2024. So take advantage if you want to get the entire collection of 12 stitches with 24 patterns. So that means 12 additional patterns outside of the Christmas Advent Calendar Mystery Crochet Along of 2024, because the actual free Mystery Crochet Along only has 12 stitches and 12 patterns, all free to view, but with ads. So if you don't like ads or you want all the patterns up front right now, then click the link down below and get your ebook. Otherwise, just sign up if you haven't done so, and I hope to see you for the next stitch tutorial. In the meantime, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on the bell to get a notification next time I publish a new video or go live. I'll see you in the next stitch tutorial. Until then, bye!